for checking out Crazy Turtle's Kitchen today. We are getting ready to make a Yule log cake. It's part of my love for French culture coming through again. They're called Bûche de Noël, and it's so much fun. There's so many different ways to make it. And today we're just going to make a basic chocolate sponge with a few little extras. I'll show you all the steps as we go along. But right now I have 5 eggs in my mixer, and they're at room temperature, and we're just going to mix them until they're light and fluffy. So as you can see, our eggs have been beating for about 3 minutes. They're nice light pale yellow. I have my sugar all ready to go and the vanilla, and we'll probably beat this for about another 3 minutes until it thickens up and your whisk will leave ribbons in the egg mixture. So this next part is going to be done by hand. As you can see, our whisk, it kind of leaves these little trails, and so we know that our eggs and sugar have been mixed properly. So for this next step, I'm going to bring out a little sieve here, colander, and gently do about a third of at a time of my flour, cocoa, cornstarch, and baking powder mixture. And fold this in by hand. We do not want to lose that volume that we had. I've spent so much time creating, or our mixer has labored so hard to create. And we'll gently fold that in. And at this point, it will be a little bit streaky, and that's okay. Look at the, oops, maybe a little bit more. And you think, why take this time? That sieve makes all the difference. And in my cup here, I have a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil and 6 tablespoons of buttermilk. I didn't have buttermilk on hand, so I just used milk and vinegar. You could also use lemon juice. So you just do a cup of milk to a tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice, and that gets that nice little bit of curdle that you want in buttermilk. So you can make a little substitute. And this, I'm just going to also gently fold this in. Oh, you could smell the cocoa. It smells awesome. Super excited. I love making these cakes, and they're fun as well for the whole family. Just adds that little bit of festive feeling. And also, the reason I wanted to show this to you is that they look really impressive, but they're not that difficult. So I'll meet you back in a second. We'll lay this out in our baking sheet and get ready to go. So this is a 13 by 18 baking sheet, jelly roll pan, sometimes they're called. I put parchment paper down, sprayed it. I've used these little clips just to kind of give me a little bit of control. And this, our batter looks so beautiful and fluffy. And we're just going to spread this out. It may not reach the edges, and that's okay. And the batter will seem very, very thin compared to maybe other cakes that you've made. But we want it thin because this batter's got to roll. And we want it to be flexible. Oh, yes. And again, this smells so good. So we're going to bake this in a 350-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. How are we going to know it's done? It will spring back when you touch it. And then after that, we have to kind of move quickly because we want to take advantage of the roll. So see you back in about 10-12 minutes. So for me, it's been 10 minutes. I've got a little, I touched the cake and it springs back, so we are ready to roll. So I have a dishcloth and my cooling rack ready. I also have some cocoa powder and my colander, excuse me, and I am just going to add a little bit more chocolate. But this is going to help when we do our rolling. Ooh, I am going to take these off. Lay this over. Okay, here we go. And I'll take my pan off first. And peel back. Yes. And I am also going to dust this with a little bit of my cocoa powder. And then we will want to roll the long ways because when I'll show you when we cut, we will make that little log branch. So right now, this cloth is going to help this cool. Whew, it is steamy. And I am going to let that cool completely. So this time I'm not going to waste. I'll make my filling, which is the vanilla mascarpone filling. I have a link to that in the description. I have a separate video for that. And I'm also going to work on the frosting, which will also be in a separate video. So the next time I see you, we are going to be ready to assemble our festive, joyful Yule log cake. See you soon. So here we are for our final assembly. I'm super excited to see how this goes. Got all of my things together. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice, nice roll. So this is where a difficult decision for you may be happening. You could add a layer of jam or jelly to this cake, and this is where I would put it right now. But I am just going to add my vanilla mascarpone filling on the inside and spread that out thickly. So again, it would be, oh my goodness, whatever you like. I would be kind of fond of raspberry, I think, but that's up to you. Maybe an orange marmalade if you've got orange fans in your house, strawberry, any of those would be just delightful. And then spread a nice even coating of this yummy, yummy cream. And I will link this in my description at the bottom. It's hard for me not to want to use it all, but here we go. Kids won't mind having extra. I won't mind having extra to eat. I'm just going to roll this back up. Here we go, gently. Yes. And before I speak, we're pretty good on cracks. So we'll scoot this off. And then I have the ganache frosting, which we will do next. And this just frosts so nicely and smoothly, and I think I'm going to have a little extra of this. I want to frost it first before I cut, because then frosting a log is a little tricky. And honestly, you don't really need to do any extra finishing. This frosting kind of looks a little bark-like. I know sometimes with thicker frosting, you may have you could drag a fork through it to kind of give that look, woodland look. And I know I'm going to have to touch this with my hands, so I'm saving some frosting for the end. So what I am going to do is just cut at an angle. Oh, I think we'll go about, well, actually I'm going to trim my ends off first. So you do have that really lovely roll right there. I'm going to trim the end off of this one as well. And just angle. So let me grab a spatula, which I didn't. Here we go. And then I will move that. Look at that, how nice that looks. Actually, I don't know if I need to touch up the frosting too much. So there we go. You have a bûche de Noël, or a Yule log. The other thing that you could do to decorate this is put a little bit of powdered sugar over the top. Oh, you could pipe some like ivy and cranberries. Lots of ideas, even just maybe some Christmas sprinkles. So thanks so much for tuning in to Crazy Turtle. While we did this really crazy cake, lots of steps, but something that really is easy, fun to do, and will delight your family. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care. Ba, 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 da.